what's the word? I appreciate you checking out my video, but before we start, I'm gonna need you to do two things. Hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, you were talking some interesting stuff. So if you want to start a label, bro, yeah, that's what time it is for real. We need real people that appreciate real music. You know what I mean? I was going in on the Grammys yesterday. I don't know if you saw that video, and then I was talking about a few things. But shout out to TV, because I'm not saying anything negative about them, but I was just saying, as far as I thought Doechii, because she won. She won the Grammy, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
yeah.
Wait. Did she win one recently? I'm not sure. I think so. But the gist of what I'm saying is just about people that really come from the ground up, from the culture, and if they start a label, it's like, come on. There's a lot that you could present, a lot of real talent that will be presented if you started a label. So yeah, man, do that, definitely.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the label stuff, not necessarily. Like, I know that's the next step, because, well, the difference between being a rapper, you do kind of have a shelf life to where, at a certain age, people don't want to see you in front of the camera. But nowadays, with technology and everything, it's kind of like the age is kind of almost limitless. But, in a traditional sense, there's been a lot of times to where, once you start getting your stuff in with your music production, you do want to upgrade and become a label owner. But right now, my primary focus, and especially seeing, the homie Soundwave accomplish certain things like getting a Grammy, and it's not on anybody else, but I never really was in a mind frame of like, what, we need to make Grammy type of records. I was just good enough with making an album, like how hard it is placement on an album and stuff. So that was cool enough for me. And some people will say that, man, that's all you need to do. But I got to get back hungry. Well, I am hungry for more success, and it's not necessarily the fame part. I just have more goals that I want to accomplish, different things. So that's the next move: getting something that's worth a Grammy, or getting an actual single. Because I had a couple of songs on the radio, like on a beat with the Gorilla Black and some other people. But, you get local success, but now it's time to get on some worldwide type of stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no. That's what time it is. That's what it is. And stay creative. That's the main thing. You stay hungry for sure, but stay creative. I was laughing because you sitting there like you started out with the
PlayStation 1.
The PlayStation 1. I think I got one of my first beats. Not my first beats, because I started like really tampering and doing stuff production wise back in like 99, right? So I don't think they had the PlayStation generator thing until a couple of years later, but I was working off of acid loops and they didn't have Fruity Loops. When I wanted to first start, there was no DAWs or none of that. It was QBase, this old stuff, right? Yeah. And then somebody I knew was working with that PS thing, but I guess it was a good start, because like I got to start from a different angle. Then I saw someone do a beat with the PS1 music generator, and then I started getting the whole Fruity Loops, and then boom, just tampering with stuff. But did you hear about what's going on with Native Instruments?
What they suing, or they changing with the AI, or what's going on?
I think it's something about because I deal with Machine. Machine is Native Instruments. I think they're about to go under. It's like bankruptcy situation. So that's why I'm gonna get at you, because I was saying what I was saying about having the sound. I got a buddy. He got a studio. He got synth, and he has these modules. He got a bunch of old stuff, low fat and all that. But it's kind of like the synths and the Native Instrument stuff. Like the plugins or the like that type of stuff. I think that they're like will you be able to use them? That's the question. It's like, if you got something that you have to log in, a DAW that you have to log in, get online, use this, whatever, subscription, whatever, If that company goes out, what does that leave your production?
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good question to ask, because honestly, reasons it hasn't went anywhere for a long time. You don't really need to be online with it, but a lot of these VSTs like Contact and Native Instrument, Omnisphere, and all that other stuff. That is a good question. But the thing is, it's like, honestly, if I can make samples and loops and creative tracks off of a video game, then it's endless, bro. Like, it's very endless.
Yeah. No. I got you. I was just thinking about, because I am finna just restructure my whole little situation and just get back to it. And I'm like you, keep it low key. I produced some stuff the biggest thing I did was like something for the West Coast Woo. But shout out to Black Diamond. I produced his whole little project. I be producing stuff for like cats that I got like a really close relationship with. I really don't do industry, man. These motherfuckers, at least from my experience, and I'm looking at your experience, because your first one you got first place with Young Buck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how that happened? I'm sure it was just like just shit. Tell me, how did it happen?
I made the record on PlayStation, right? At that time, I knew a rapper named Spitfire, and I was doing production for him, and I came across Bishop Lamont, and Bishop Lamont.
Nice, yeah, that's the homie.
Yeah, before he signed the Aftermath, he he was doing his rounds and stuff like that, getting placements on what's that, True Crimes, the video game, right? So he was out there networking and everything, and I gave him a couple of beats, and he put together a beat CD, and I had like 2 beats on there on like a CD of like 22 records and stuff like that, and he met G-Unit at the airport. And like 2 weeks later, I got a phone call. They were like, "Hey, did you make this beat?" And then they played it over the phone. I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, that's me." So it's been up since there. So I really want to give shout out and praise to the homie Bishop Lamont for definitely putting me on to where I got my first placement.
That's what's up.
And how that went down. And that's the first thing I noticed too, because I got co-production credit on there, but I was basically the sole producer. So that's how. Now I was like 17 or something at that time or whatever. So I really didn't know anything about the game, about splits, how everything went or whatever. So it could have went better, but those are learning experiences, and that's what I'm saying. So the first placement was that, and then I started working with other artists, and then the second major placement was with 50 Cent on the Curtis album. And they was looking for records. Well, Shaw Money hit me up because they was looking for records for the new project, and that basically that's just how I got my foot in the door.
No, that's what's up. No, that's good. That's love. Yeah, shout out to B Lamont. That's the homie, man. That dude used to go down there with Lonzo back then and be spitting at a thing Lonzo did at his spot. So yeah, shout out to B Lamont. See, that's the thing. You get a hold of real dudes who could really help you out. I've had the adverse experience where people, like that situation you had where somebody called you, somebody could easily stole that and say, "Oh, that's mine." You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm dead ass. Like, so you're in the right hands, bro. And I had a situation where it was just like the other way around. Fool tried to really go steal mine. I'm like, "Oh, bro, I produced that. I produced something," and they try to take the credit. So that really turned me off of industry, and I was like, stay on the underground or stay on the, that type of, but it is kind of, I ain't gonna say it's kind of whack to be underground. But mainstream versus underground, really it's just about the exposure now.
I'm not gonna lie. Underground is just as popular as mainstream kind of right now.
Yeah. Now, back when I was doing it underground, it was like, it was considered real whack. It was not real whack, but it's like I don't know. It just depends on the level. Like, there's really no more underground, to be honest. That's what it is.
Hey, man. So you gonna tell me 94.6 of y'all are not subscribed?
What are y'all doing? doing? Hit that subscribe button and put notifications on all.
Now let's get to the video.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Are you a fan of my brand and want to show your support? Well, I got some awesome merch for you to check out today. I got everything from stylish t-shirts featuring my logo to cozy hoodies that are perfect for those chilly nights. And don't forget about the signature hats and mugs. Whether you heading out to a concert, running errands, or just hanging out with friends, my merch is the perfect way to show your love for the brand. And the best part, I got some exclusive deals and discounts going on right now. So what you waiting for? Head over to the store, grab your favorite item before they gone. Yo, you now rocking with classic music. Now what I want you to do is hit that like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Yeah, let's get it.